2025 MLB Trade Deadline Breakdown. Winners, losers, and surprises. Imagine a world where the MLB Trade Deadline is more than just a flurry of last-minute deals. It's a masterclass in strategy, a delicate dance of give and take, and a testament to the unpredictable nature of baseball. Welcome to the 2025 MLB Trade Deadline, where 63 trades and 179 player transactions later, the landscape of the league has been forever altered. But here's where it gets interesting. Despite the lack of blockbuster deals, the sheer volume of transactions has left fans and pundits alike scrambling to make sense of it all. And this is the part most people miss. The real winners and losers of the deadline aren't always the teams that made the biggest splashes, but rather those that made the most savvy moves. The Oakland Athletics, for instance, pulled off the unthinkable by acquiring 18-year-old phenom Leo DeVries from the San Diego Padres. DeVries, the number 3 prospect in baseball, is a switch-hitting shortstop who has been tearing it up in High A as a teenager. The Athletics lineup, already loaded with talent like Nick Kurtz, Brent Rooker, and Jacob Wilson, just got a whole lot scarier. But what's even more remarkable is that the Athletics managed to snag DeVries without giving up any of their top prospects. The Padres, on the other hand, dealt away 10 players from their big league roster, including DeVries, in a move that has left many scratching their heads. The San Diego Padres, led by the fearless A.J. Preller, have never been afraid to take risks, and this deadline was no exception. By dealing away DeVries and several other top prospects, the Padres are clearly going all in on the present. But is it a gamble worth taking? With a lineup that already features Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., and Xander Bogaerts, the Padres are looking to make a deep playoff run, and with their new additions, including Ryan O'Hearn, Ramon Laureano, and Freddie Fermin, they might just have the firepower to do it. The Seattle Mariners, meanwhile, have been quietly building a juggernaut in the Pacific Northwest. By acquiring Eugenio Suárez, Josh Naylor, and Caleb Ferguson, the Mariners have addressed several key needs without sacrificing any of their top prospects. It's a move that has left many in the industry impressed and has the Mariners looking like a serious contender in the AL West. But here's the thing. The Mariners' success isn't just about the players they've acquired. It's about the culture they're building. With a mix of veteran leaders and young talent, the Mariners are looking to create a winning atmosphere that will propel them deep into the playoffs. The Chicago Cubs and Boston Red Sox, on the other hand, are two teams that entered the deadline with high expectations, but ultimately came up short. Both teams were looking to add a high-end starting pitcher, but were unable to pull the trigger. The Cubs did manage to land Michael Soroka from the Washington Nationals, but it's unclear whether he'll be enough to propel them to the playoffs. The Red Sox, meanwhile, are facing a crisis of confidence, with a payroll that's no longer among the top 10 in the league. It's a stark contrast to their glory days, when they were consistently one of the biggest spenders in baseball. The Minnesota Twins, meanwhile, have been making headlines for all the wrong reasons. With the team up for sale, the Twins embarked on a fire sale of epic proportions, dealing away 10 big leaguers and completely altering their trajectory. It's a move that has left many in the industry stunned and has raised questions about the team's future. But here's the thing. The Twins' moves might not be as crazy as they seem. With a strong core of young players, including Byron Buxton and Royce Lewis, the Twins are looking to rebuild on the fly. And with their newfound payroll flexibility, they might be able to make some savvy moves in the offseason to bolster their roster. The Houston Astros, meanwhile, have made a bold move to reacquire Carlos Correa, a linchpin of their run to 7 consecutive AL Championship Series. It's a move that has left many in the industry surprised, but it's clear that the Astros are going all in on the present, with Correa back in the fold. The Astros are looking to make a deep playoff run and might just have the talent to do it. The Cleveland Guardians, on the other hand, have taken a decidedly different approach. By holding on to Stephen Kwan, the Guardians are showing a commitment to their young core and are looking to build a winning culture from the ground up. It's a move that has left many in the industry impressed, and has the Guardians looking like a team on the rise. The Philadelphia Phillies, meanwhile, have made a bold move to acquire Jhoan Duran, one of the best closers in baseball. It's a move that has left many in the industry impressed and has the Phillies looking like a serious contender in the NL East. The New York Mets and Yankees, meanwhile, have been busy bolstering their bullpens, with the Mets adding Ryan Helsley and Tyler Rogers, and the Yankees adding David Bednar, Camilo Doval, and Jake Bird. It's a move that has left many in the industry impressed, and has both teams looking like serious contenders in the playoffs. The St. Louis Cardinals, on the other hand, have taken a decidedly different approach. By standing pat at the deadline, the Cardinals are showing a commitment to their young core and are looking to build a winning culture from the ground up. It's a move that has left many in the industry impressed and has the Cardinals looking like a team on the rise. The Kansas City Royals, meanwhile, have made a bold move to add several veterans to their roster, including Mike Yastrzemski and Randall Grichuk. It's a move that has left many in the industry surprised, but it's clear that the Royals are looking to win now. With a strong core of young players, including Bobby Witt Jr., the Royals are looking to make a deep playoff run, and might just have the talent to do it. The Tampa Bay Rays, meanwhile, have made a bold move to acquire Griffin Jax, one of the best relievers in baseball. It's a move that has left many in the industry impressed, and has the Rays looking like a serious contender in the AL East. But here's the thing. The Rays' success isn't just about the players they've acquired. It's about the culture they're building. With a mix of veteran leaders and young talent, the Rays are looking to create a winning atmosphere that will propel them deep into the playoffs. So, what does it all mean? The 2025 MLB Trade Deadline was a complex web of moves, each with its own unique motivations and consequences. But one thing is clear. The teams that made the most savvy moves are the ones that will be competing for a championship in October. And as for the rest, well, they'll just have to wait until next year. But here's the question. What do you think? Do you agree with the moves made by your favorite team, or do you think they should have done something different? Let us know in the comments. And this is the part where we ask, what's the most surprising move of the deadline, and why? Is it the Athletics' acquisition of DeVries? The Padres' fire sale, or something else entirely? Let us know, and let's get the conversation started. Impactful 2025 MLB Trade Deadline deals revealed. Baseball fans, buckle up. This year's trade madness wasn't just headline-worthy. It could reshape the entire landscape of the postseason. The dust has barely settled on the 2025 trade deadline, and everyone's already buzzing about which deals will deliver the biggest shocks and sweeps come October. But here's where the arguments start. Which moves will truly change the game, and who actually came out on top? To dig into these questions, 33 MLB.com analysts weighed in with their expert opinions. Let's break down their insights and see which players and teams are sparking the hottest debates, and which moves are sure to get fans talking in the comments. Which trade will be the game changer for the regular season? The runaway favorite among the experts was Eugenio Suárez, who received 13 votes after returning to Seattle from Arizona. Need some context on why everyone's eyes are on Suárez? He's already hammered 36 home runs, fifth best in the majors, making him a perfect fit for a Mariners squad desperately needing some firepower if they're going to keep their playoff hopes alive. Think about it. One big bat can make all the difference, especially in close AL races. But don't ignore the Phillies' big move either. They gave up serious prospects to land closer Jhoan Duran, 11 votes, and he's already locked down 2 saves in his first 2 games. Is the high price for elite bullpen arms ever really too steep when you want to win it all? That's one for the armchair GMs to debate. Who's primed to be the October superstar? Get ready for some heated opinions. Carlos Correa's reappearance in Houston, 13 votes, is already inspiring big predictions. Correa's postseason record is undeniable. .272 average, 18 homers, .849 OPS in the playoffs for Houston. And now he's back after a shocking trade from Minnesota. Can Correa recapture past magic, especially if Houston sluggers aren't healthy? It's the storyline every fan will be watching. don't overlook the impact of clutch relievers. Mason Miller and Johan Duran both earn nods for their potential as late-inning playoff nightmares for opposing hitters. Sure, Miller lacks postseason experience, but if you love baseball drama, just imagine him stepping onto the mound in October with his triple-digit heater. Which teams won the deadline and set themselves up for glory? Here's something bound to get fans arguing. The analysts gave the Padres the edge, 15 votes, for the most impressive buying spree. San Diego was hyper-aggressive, acquiring not just Miller and J.P. Sears for their pitching staff, but also reloading their offense and bullpen with names like Ryan O'Hearn, Ramon Laureano, Freddie Fermin, and Nestor Cortez Jr. Some say it's win now or bust for the Padres front office, but that's far from consensus. A lot of experts and fans still believe the Mariners or Mets might have played their cards right, shoring up their own rosters with smart deals for Josh Naylor, Caleb Ferguson, Ryan Helsley, Cedric Mullins, and more. Is all-in spending the only way to win nowadays, or is savvy depth building the smarter move? What about the sellers, who mastered the art of the rebuild? No contest here. The A's grabbed 26 votes after shipping out Mason Miller for a haul headlined by phenom shortstop Leo DeVries, one of the highest-rated prospects ever dealt at any trade deadline. DeVries wasted no time making a splash in the minors. Oakland also added Braden Nett and more top prospects. Suddenly, the farm system looks set for a brighter future. But will losing Miller sting just a bit too much? Then there's the Orioles, who piled up young talent by trading veterans like Ryan O'Hearn and Laureano, plus swapping Cedric Mullins and others for more prospects. With so much youth coming in, are the Orioles sacrificing too much present for the future, or is this the only way to stay competitive long-term? Let's hear your takes. Which contenders flopped at the deadline? Not every front office went home happy. Most disappointing? The Cubs, with 13 votes, edged out the Red Sox, 11 votes. Despite picking up Willie Castro, Michael Soroka, and some bullpen help, Chicago didn't grab a headline starting pitcher, a critical need with injuries in their rotation. Was it caution or squandered opportunity? Fans may have every right to vent. Boston, meanwhile, added pitching but failed to secure a right-handed bat. Could that be a fatal flaw as the stretch run heats up? And does it send the message their front office isn't committed to a deep playoff run? What trade left jaws on the floor? By far the most shocking move, 19 votes. Carlos Correa going back to Houston. Yes, the Twins were clearing house with 10 trades, but did anyone really expect Correa to return to where his legend began? The fit's obvious with Houston needing a power bat, but it's a full-circle moment few saw coming. Another stunner, the A's dealing Miller after benching him before the deadline, 10 votes. The Padres' willingness to overpay for an already loaded bullpen left plenty of jaws dropping. Does this blockbuster mean the Padres are risking too much of their future? And this is the part most fans overlook. Not every trade is just about this season. Many of these moves set up massive storylines for years to come, whether it's prospects blossoming or missed opportunities haunting decision-makers. So, who do you think actually emerged as the real winners and losers? Are big splash deals always worth the risk? Or do you believe in quieter, under-the-radar moves making the difference? Let's get the debate rolling. Sound off in the comments and tell us which deadline move you loved or loathed the most. MLB Trade Deadline Superlatives. Best worst trades, weirdest moves more. A trade deadline aftermath, separating the genius from the chaos. Now that the dust has settled on the MLB Trade Deadline, are you thrilled, disappointed, or utterly perplexed by your team's moves? This year's chaotic deadline will be remembered for sellers reeling in impressive prospect hauls for proven, controllable veterans. Ask-in prices were steep, and contending teams largely anteed up. The big winners and losers unpacking the deadline superlatives. Each year, following our comprehensive trade deadline grades for all 30 teams, we dive into the fascinating world of deadline superlatives. Here's where the fun begins, as we dissect the best, worst, and everything in between from this year's trade extravaganza. Best trade. The Blue Jays' masterstroke in acquiring Shane Bieber from the Guardians for pitching prospect Cole Steven. Bieber, the 2020 American League Cy Young Award winner, boasts a 62-32 record and 3.22 ERA. If his rehab starts are any indication, he could be the difference maker this October and a strong starter for 2026. Worst trade: the Reds' puzzling acquisition of Ke'Bryan Hayes from Pittsburgh for reliever Taylor Rogers, shortstop Sammy Stafura, and cash. While Hayes' Gold Glove defense is admirable, his struggles at the plate, .230 hitter with just 3 home runs per year over his last 1,000 at-bats, and the hefty $38 million contract through 2029 raise eyebrows, especially for a small market team. But here's where it gets controversial. Best buyers: the Mariners and Padres made the most impactful moves. The Mariners bolstered their infield with Josh Naylor and Eugenio Suárez, while the Padres fortified their bullpen with Mason Miller and added starter J.P. Sears and outfielders Ramon Laureano and Ryan O'Hearn. Best sellers: the Orioles and Twins excelled in their trades. Baltimore secured solid returns, while Minnesota's aggressive approach yielded 13 players, including 2 top prospects for closer Joan Duran. And this is the part most people miss. Best job of standing pat: the Marlins wisely resisted temptation, holding on to controllable starters Sandy Alcantara and Edward Cabrera. Waiting might prove beneficial, as they could garner more value later, especially if Alcantara regains his past form. Worst job of standing pat: the Angels played it too safe, acquiring veteran relievers Andrew Chafin and Luis Garcia, and backup infielder Oswald Peraza. Given their playoff outlook, selling assets like closer Kenley Jansen and left fielder Taylor Ward could have accelerated their rebuild. More deadline superlatives to ponder. Weirdest trade: the Red Sox's head-scratching acquisition of 34-year-old lefty Steven Matz from the Cardinals for promising first base prospect Blaze Jordan, 304, 373, 486 in AA and AAA this year. Biggest overpay: the Mets trading prospects Blade Tidwell, Drew Gilbert, and reliever Jose Butto to the Giants for 2-month rental Tyler Rogers. Was the cost too steep, especially if Gilbert develops into an everyday player? Best position player traded June: Rafael Devers, whom the Giants acquired in a blockbuster trade with the Red Sox. Best position player traded July: Eugenio Suárez, who now brings his power to the Mariners. Best starting pitchers traded: Shane Bieber, Blue Jays, and Merrill Kelly, Rangers. Best relievers traded: Mason Miller, Padres, and Joan Duran, Phillies. Most under-the-radar reliever traded: lefty Danny Colomé, who boasts a 1.09 ERA over 42 appearances and can handle both right-handed and left-handed hitters, now with the Rangers. Best prospect traded: Leo DeVries, the prized return for the A's in the Mason Miller trade, ranked the number 13 prospect by the Athletic's Keith Law. Sparkling reunions and strategic moves. Best reunion: Carlos Correa's emotional return to the Astros, sure to electrify the fan base. Best duo lineup additions: the Mariners, Eugenio Suárez and Josh Naylor, and Padres, Ramon Laureano and Ryan O'Hearn, significantly boosted their lineups. Most creative executive: Dodgers president of baseball operations Andrew Friedman, who orchestrated a 3-way trade to net lefty Adam Soronoski, righty Paul Gervais, and catcher Ben Rortvedt. The what-ifs and takeaways. Front office that asked for too much. The Red Sox, according to several opposing general managers. Front office that made too many trades. The Twins, who might have alienated their fan base with the sheer volume of deals. Player who should have been traded but wasn't. Joe Ryan, the Twins' all-star pitcher who could have garnered significant value in a seller's market. Player who was acquired but should not have been. Brian Baker, whom the Rays acquired from the Orioles, giving up a competitive balanced draft pick in the process. From elation to despair. National League fan base that popped the most champagne, the Padres with their slew of impactful additions. American League fan base that popped the most champagne, the Mariners, who significantly enhanced their roster. A fan base that heard crickets. The Red Sox, whose underwhelming deadline has left fans wondering what could have been. The team that added too much quantity but not enough quality. The Tigers, who bolstered their depth but missed out on a game-changing acquisition. The team whose best move was extending an executive. The Cubs, who wisely secured President of Baseball Operations Jed Hoyer with a well-deserved extension. The trade that got away. Imagine if the Red Sox had landed RHP Joe Ryan from the Twins in exchange for OF Jostinson Garcia, LHP Peyton Toll, and SS Dorian Soto. The possibilities are endless, and the excitement is already building for next year's trade deadline. Stay tuned. Now it's your turn. Share your thoughts. Do you agree with our deadline superlatives? Which trade deadline move will have the most significant impact on the season's outcome? What's your take on the teams that stood pat or overpaid? Let the discussion begin in the comments.